One more time. He hits an upset alert and then takes the Friday off just so we can kind of sit in it and remember what he did to us. I see you, JJ. I know you're watching us. All right, but let's get into it this week, David and Rob. Let's go with our NFL Total Access Game of the Week. Ravens at Browns. David, who's winning it?
I'm going to go with the Browns on this one. I think that they're hot. They've won 4 in a row, like you mentioned in the last segment. And I just think that they've learned from mistakes in the first week of the season. They got too much going on right now. Myles Garrett's fired up. You fired him up, MJ. They're going to win.
David, I got the Baltimore Ravens winning this one in a close one, 32-29. Yes, the Cleveland Browns are playing good football right now, but I think this Baltimore Ravens defense will do something to that run game and force Baker Mayfield to try to beat him with their arm. And I think Lamar Jackson, he's going to literally run this team into the playoffs, and I think he's just going to run the ball almost every single play, and they're going to win.
Listen, I get it. And it's hard to call it an upset when you're talking about Ravens and Browns, but the way the Browns are playing, and I just spoke to Myles, I can't do that to him. I'm going with the Browns as well. They've won. They're on a streak right now, I think. 36-26 the final there. All right, next one, Cardinals at Giants. No way Cardinals dropped 4 in a row against the G-Men, right, David?
Is there no way? I think that there is a way. I think that the Giants are going to win this game, 24-21. And I think that what I've seen is just the protection issues. It's been on Kyler Murray a lot this year. There's going to be more asked of him. And the Giants can bring some pressure now. They can give you some looks that'll make you kind of scratch your head. So I'm going to say the Giants pull this one out.
I'm going with the Giants, too. Jabril Peppers is playing out of his mind right now at the safety position. And Leonard Williams, you talk about pressure on a quarterback, and Kyler Murray, who took a big hit in Seattle, and we haven't seen him throw the ball the same since. You better know what Leonard Williams is on Sunday, and you better make sure you got at least 2 sets of eyeballs on him, because if not, he can wreck your whole plan. I got the Giants winning in a close one, 20-17.
All right, I guess I'm out on a ledge, not just here on the show, but in my household as well. My husband, a huge Giants fan, but I am taking the Cardinals here, 30-27. I know they've been frustrated. Kyler, D-Hop is upset. I'm thinking he comes through. They give him the ball a little more, and they get it done. Saving the best for last. Jets at Seahawks. David, come on, don't do it.
Man, okay. Well, so Cynthia Freeland already came on and said Chris Carson was going to have a big game. The Seahawks are back. And then I'm here with Rob, so I'm thinking, man, I got to kind of go with my man. He's going to pick the Seahawks. I know that. But I actually believe this is what happens. Greg Williams gets fired. There's literally no chance the Jets have to win, right? 0 chance to win this football game, except for the fact that it's the NFL, and they're going to win the game 27-24. Sorry, buddy.
David, like, I get what you're saying, and I get how you're trying to talk yourself into this pick and try to connect all the dots and get the universe on your side right now, man. But look, we got to know, we got to just go by what our eyes are seeing right now. Seattle Seahawks is just a better team. Yeah, Greg Williams messed up, blitzed everybody on a 0-dog blitz and lost to your brother, and who did do a great pass. Yeah, great pass, and he got fired a few hours later, but they're not going to beat the Seattle Seahawks, dog. Not in Seattle. Come on, man. I got Seattle winning 27-10. It ain't going to be close. Russell Wilson gets back on track. Carlos Hyde is there, too. So, I mean, they still have runners. Come on, David. You don't believe that, man.
I have the Seahawks as well, 36-14. But I want to point out that I am fairly certain that this is a strategy move by David Carr to come up in the standings. He's like, all right, y'all go ahead and take the Seahawks. This is my chance. And moving up in the board. All right, guys, thanks. Let's take a look at some other games that we picked here. All of us have the Cowboys taking it. We have just one person taking the Bears against the Texans. That would be David Carr. All of us taking the Titans. And the lone Panther here in this Broncos-Panthers game, Rob, taking Carolina. All right, time now for the Pepsi Rookie of the Week. Well, look at this. This is a good omen. The honor goes to Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who threw for 296 yards and a touchdown in Miami's win over the Bengals. Keep that rolling, Tua. I see you. I see you. I also see my beautiful friend right here. Say hello to our friend and resident fortune teller, Cynthia Freeland. Cynthia has run the numbers on a few games that have a lot of us confused, but she's going to clear it up with score predictions you can bank on. That's next on NFL Total Access. Mike Rob and David Carr. Listen, guys, you know we have to pick all of these games. I was going through some of these. Some of these were really tough to decide on. So I want to hear, as you deep dive into this, what are some of your must-see matchups this week, especially on Sunday? Rob, start us off.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that, go with the game that we just finished talking to a player that's playing in Myles Garrett. Like, I'm looking at Patrick Queen, linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens, going up against those running backs of the Cleveland Browns, and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I mean, Patrick Queen, he's all over the place, but early on in the season, he had issues with big offensive linemen getting up in his face and him trying to shed and make the tackle. And I think earlier in the season, he got exposed. And then when you look at Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, not only do you got to know where these guys are going to be at in the running scheme, and they do a great job running outside zone, but also when you get to them, there's a physical encounter. You have to actually tackle them. Nick Chubb, he's always leaning forward, always pushing forward, always falls forward. And then Kareem Hunt, I think, is the closest thing to beast mode that I've seen in the National Football League. Again, a tough tackle. So that's the matchup that I think is going to be one of the deciding factors of this game.
I like that. It's a great game. There's a great challenge being presented to a young quarterback also that I'm going to look for. Jalen Hurts is going to have to play the New Orleans Saints, and that's not easy. I mean, you're talking about replacing Carson Wentz, and, sometimes it's easy to come off the bench and you go in there and you play loose and excited. But, man, I thought he did a good job. He's going to have to do some of this against New Orleans. You got four guys up here showing pressure, who's coming, who's dropping. You're going to have to decipher that. They end up getting you here. You got a free rusher in your face, but how can you cover that up? You find the one-on-one matchup. You put some air into the ball. Nice throw with guy barreling down on him. Great throw down the field. And the other thing that he did, and I noticed this a lot when he went in the game, and this happened a lot in Philly, honestly. You talk about not having a lot of help. Carson Wentz went through a lot of this also. But you got a two-man route, basically, into, 7 guys dropping out. You got some checkdowns there, but you can't panic. And he didn't panic. And he moved around, and he used his legs, stepped up, made a couple guys miss, ended up getting a first down. So if he can do some of that, he's going to have to. Quite honestly, against the Saints, he's going to have a lot on his plate. And if he can utilize his legs, he can make some big throws. He's got a chance to help spark this football team.
I love that you showcased his mobility there, David, because when you're going up against a defense like the Saints, guys like Cam Jordan trying to get after him aggressively out there, it's not an easy task whatsoever. But guess what? It's the NFL. That's how it goes. All right, David and Rob, thanks. Speaking of that game, New Orleans can actually clinch the NFC South Division. Of course, they already clinched a playoff berth, but this is how they do it. With a win or with a Tampa Bay loss or a New Orleans tie and a Tampa Bay Bucks tie. Here are some other games that we picked this week. Almost fully in agreement against that Colts Raiders game. I'm the only one taking Indy there. All of us are taking the Saints and the Falcons and Green Bay. Little splitsies there. Rob, the only one taking the Niners against Washington. That last game there, Green Bay and Detroit. Green Bay clinches the NFC North division title with a win and a Minnesota loss. They can clinch a playoff berth with a win and a Cardinals loss this weekend, or with a win and a Seahawks win this weekend as well. All right, when you're supposed to win and you lose, it's called an upset. And it tends to leave people feeling, well, pretty upset. But if we didn't warn you that you would be totally upset, then it would be extra upsetting. And we're not about to do that to you. So after the break, 3 favorites on Upset Alert.